All right. Feliz Navidad. Welcome to episode 14, the Christmas special of the Ginger and
Soul Podcast. Merry Christmas, and today we are going to preview what's left of the NBA Christmas schedule, and at the end we're going to do a Christmas movie draft. Going in, David, I was very much looking forward to all these games, but COVID and injuries have really messed up the slate. But it doesn't matter. We're going to preview all the games anyway. There's still about 5 or 6. And, we'll talk about where the teams are at that are playing. And yeah, so let's just get into it. Before we get into it, what do you think about what do you think about the NBA season so far and how it started off? Now that we're at the Christmas mark, many call many call the games before Christmas kind of like the preseason, and they say the NBA starts around Christmas. So what have you been thinking about the season so far? Have you been entertained? What do you think?
yeah, the season's been lit. It's been a really great season so far. I think that this season is definitely representing a change of the guards that we're going to start seeing as far as new talent in the league goes. We're seeing a lot of great things. I mean, Anthony Edwards, 10 3-pointers in one game. Whew, that's crazy, dude. And here's the real question. I hate to sidetrack us already, but I'm going to do it anyways. Steph Curry broke Ray Allen's record in basically half the time. So does that mean that, or I'll rephrase the question, how long do you think Steph Curry is going to hold the record when you look at guys coming in the league like Anthony Edwards who are willing to put up that many 3-pointers in a night with their size? So I guess the question is how much of it is a lot? I mean, obviously a lot of it is Steph Curry's incredible talent, but how much of it do you think is going to hold or change when we see the future of the NBA come into the league?
Yeah, this has been a great topic going on last couple weeks since he broke it. I think he's going to be so far ahead of everyone because he shoots, and especially with leagues at now, he almost averages he can average close to 15 threes a game. And I just think he's going to put such a distance, kind of like what John Stockton has with the assist record. There's just such a gap between everybody with the rate that he shoots at that his record won't be broken. But to your point, now with all these guys shooting more and more threes, the Ray Allen, Reggie Miller records are going to be broken like a lot faster. Are those guys necessarily better shooters than those two? That would be an interesting conversation. But guys like Clay, Trae Young, guys who shoot a lot of threes, I don't know who else off the top of my head, but like those guys are going to break those kinds of records a lot quicker. And the scoring records are going to change too. LeBron will get the scoring record all time pretty soon here, but guys like Kobe and MJ and all those guys with high scoring numbers, you may see those go down too. Maybe even a Russell Westbrook can catch him, so stuff like that. Like you look at Carmelo, he's going to pass Shaq, and he's going to be top 10. He can be even top 5, when he's done playing at this rate. So I definitely agree with your point there.
Yeah. Sorry. It's an interesting conversation. And what was the point that I was going to make? I totally forget. But yeah, so that's a pretty interesting conversation. Obviously, Steph, beating the record is a big milestone for this year. But I feel like the league has been pretty competitive. I'm not going to lie. I've been really enjoying what I've been seeing. I'm seeing a lot of parity in the NBA right now that we're also seeing in the NFL. I'm seeing some surprised rankings that I didn't expect to see, that I definitely didn't predict. I mean, obviously, Bulls number 2. They're really hot right now. And the Hawks at 11. Really interesting spot that they're at right now for this sort of, like you said, preseason period of the NBA. And the Celtics still at number 8. Interesting. Jaylen Brown, huh, guys? Jaylen Brown.
We'll get into both those teams on the preview for sure. You hit the nail on the head. That's kind of what I want to get into. Just like the parity in the league is unbelievable. And your point about Chicago, they're not playing on Christmas, but we might look up at some point and they might just be the healthiest team this year in the East, and they could end up being number one at this rate. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Brooklyn, I think, has kind of had an easier schedule. I think they're going to be, due pretty soon, especially when they go on these West Coast road trips, kind of like who's on one right now and just getting shellacked? Oh, it's the Hornets. You see the number, like they played Phoenix, they lost by 30. They played Utah, they were down 15th the most. They kind of made it close at the end. They played Denver. Like when the Nets have to go on that kind of trip, it's going to be tougher on them, I think. But maybe I'm just a Nets hater. But the point is, like, you really see the depth of the league, and, to have a team like Atlanta out of the playoffs kind of just shows, like, it's tough sledding out here in both conferences now. It's no joke. One last thing I'll say here about the parity is, like, everyone was like basically penciling the Lakers and the Nets in for the finals. That's the finals we all want to see. That's a big Christmas game that, will probably get canceled. But, those two teams are not only not finals contenders, but, the Lakers might not even make the playoffs. So I don't think, I don't think either team's a serious contender right now, to be honest. And so that just kind of is another, notch in the belt for parity in the NBA. Lots of small market teams look good right now.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, one of the biggest stories of the season has been Kyrie Irving, and Brooklyn is trying to get him back as a part-time player. I'm not really surprised considering the necessity right now to have more players on your team. I mean, you just saw that Joe Johnson got signed to a 10-day contract. Isaiah Thomas to the Lakers on a 10-day contract. So players are really desperate. Teams are really desperate for players right now. And it's an interesting move. I would be very curious to know what the team was told or what Kyrie Irving communicated to the team about his return, right? Because as a team, I feel like as a player on a team, you want Kyrie Irving, obviously, because he's a monster, but you don't want problems that are going to affect the team in the long run, and you don't want someone on the team who isn't dedicated with the team, right? You don't want a Ben Simmons situation, or you don't want Kyrie Irving to feel like he's doing the team a favor, right? You want Kyrie Irving to feel like he's playing to win a championship, and when you're telling me that someone's coming in part-time, I wonder how committed they are to the team.
Yeah, I don't even think it's about commitment. I think it's more, he's so committed to whatever this cause is, I guess. But I think they didn't want to bring him back. They had to, because they were, their whole team, we're going to address this later, but like, their whole team has COVID. They don't even have 8 players. They haven't played because they just don't have enough bodies. And, it's part of it's just indicative to where they are. New York is, not, this isn't political, but, New York is getting hammered by COVID. That's just a fact, whether that's the way the city's set up, it is what it is. But, they're getting hammered by COVID, and, Brooklyn and the Knicks have a lot of COVID. So it's just kind of is what it is. So, yeah, COVID's kind of wrecked some of these games. So let's just get into it. We'll take them all in order. You brought this team up already. The Hawks are playing the Knicks. And, going in, we thought, oh, this is going to be a really great, interesting matchup. And now we kind of look at it, and it's probably two of the most disappointing teams in the Eastern Conference. So before we get into, like, the preview and where these teams are and whatnot, which team has been more disappointing to you so far? The Atlanta Hawks or the New York Knicks?
Easily the Atlanta Hawks. Big Trae Young fan. I loved what I was seeing in the playoffs last year. I love the Trae Young, John Collins connection. I love the white boy shooting up the threes. Love Capella. And so yeah, it's definitely disappointing to see them not being in contention right now. The Knicks, I guess I can't be as disappointed because they're the Knicks, so it's not the biggest deal in the world to me. And I don't think I'm as surprised with the Knicks where they fell into place, but I am greatly surprised by where the Hawks have landed.
Yeah, I hear you because I have high expectations for Atlanta too. But I look at them and it's like I still think I still have faith in them that they'll turn it around. You know what I mean? Whereas I look at the Knicks and I'm just like they're not going to turn it around. You know what I mean? Like it just looks like it's over for them. And I with you, like my expectations were obviously lower for the Knicks, but it's like I didn't think they'd be this bad. You know, it's like they're just falling apart, and I just don't see them even. They could be like almost a lottery team when it's all said and done here because it just came out today. Derrick Rose, who I think has been their second best player, is out 2 months with an ankle surgery. So, without him, that's a huge loss. And I just think I'm surprised. I wouldn't blame Julius Randle, I don't think he's taken a step back like the media wants to say. I just think teams are gearing their defense to stop him now. Now it's like, all right, we respect, like last year was like, all right, Julius Randle is an all NBA player. We're going to treat him as an all NBA player now. We're going to double him and make Fournier, who's been terrible, Kemba, who hasn't played great, and all these other guys try to beat us. And they can't because they're not that good. And, and I just think Thibodeau is, I don't believe in him as a coach. I'm sorry. I know he was coach of the year last year. I get it. But it's just like the way they use Randall just doesn't make sense. Like he's at the top of the key when he's really a post up guy.
Yeah.
And then they have, I don't know. I just think this team's a mess. But I do think they can make a move at the deadline because they have some pieces. Should they? I have 2 players written down. Who do you think would be a better fit for them? Miles Turner or Ben Simmons?
Ooh, that's a very interesting question. Didn't expect that. I would have to say, and this is going to sound really crazy, but I think that I would probably go with Ben Simmons because you brought up your point about Julius Randle running it up the top. Just have Ben Simmons run it up the top. And with Ben Simmons' height, it's all day, the connection to Randle. I feel like that's an all-day connection.
Yeah. And they have shooting already, so you don't need Simmons to take shots.
Yeah, which you won't.
You have shooters around him.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that they took Kemba Walker out the lineup? What did you think about that?
I to be honest, I haven't been following the Knicks as much as I should be. Explain the situation to me. They took him out off the starting five.
Oh no, it's worse than that, dude. They took him out. They did stutter. Mm-hmm. Basically, they took him out the rotation entirely. Like he's not playing it. He's playing 0 minutes.
Really?
So yeah. And then when they finally had all these COVID issues and put him back in, they lost to Boston, but he put up 29. So it's like he can still play.
Interesting. I am seeing. Oh my god, he hasn't played in a long time. Actually. Oh, I'm bugging.
Yeah, because what happened was Thibodeau is like disappointed because Kemba doesn't play any defense, and like Thibodeau is like trying to send a message like we play defense on this team, So like that's why I'm kind of like really sour on Thibodeau right now. It's like you're paying Kemba like all this money to come here. He's from New York, like he's supposed to be, your point guard. And it's like I just don't like that he's pretending like Kemba's the only one that doesn't play defense on this team. Like I can name at least 5 or 6 players that aren't great defenders on the Knicks.
And here's the thing: it's like you have to give players some time, especially if the player isn't complaining like this little bitch made motherfucker Malik Monk thinks he has the goddamn right to go on Twitter and complain about being trapped in the Lakers. Bro, we're letting you take game-winning shots, you little bitch, right? And Kemba's over here, not even stirring up controversy, and you gotta ride with the team, have some balls, and get it fucking going.
Yeah. but I do kind of like seeing the Knicks be terrible. Um, it brings me a little joy because their fans get so cocky. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like
It's like the Dallas
yeah,
Cowboys right now, right? That's exactly what it
yeah.
is like.
Yeah, exactly. Like they get so arrogant after they beat like the Magic or something, you know, and it's just like, all right, like let's just see if you can actually sustain this. They can't every time. So I want them to do well. Part of me wants them to do well because they've been so bad, and it's like the
Yeah.
NBA is better when the Knicks are interesting because I love watching games at the Garden. Like when Trae Young went to the Garden last year, like that was compelling.
Yeah.
So that's why they set this game up, because it's like, oh, Trae Young's going to return, but unfortunately he got COVID. And he's been
Yeah.
playing great, dude. And I want to say this, all these people, and we'll talk about this later too, but it's just like all these people talking about how the rules were designed for James Harden and Trae Young. Are we sure they were designed for Trae Young? Because Trae Young's still getting 30 every night. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You know what James Harden's getting? Not even 20. So
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
So yeah, Trae's been balling. So if Trae Young somehow clears the thing, then I think this is a compelling the COVID protocols.
Mhm.
It'd be an interesting game, but it's just this game might even get suspended because both these teams have been hammered by COVID. So
Yeah.
I would ask for a prediction, but it's like we can't really predict something that's like I'll take the Hawks just because I like them more.
Yeah. I'm Hawks all day, baby. Hawks all day.
All right, so the next game on the slate is another one that's been kind of hampered by COVID, but could still be interesting. And Giannis actually could still return because he he could get cleared by Christmas Eve, I believe. So hopefully he can play.
Yeah.
And the game we're talking about is, of course, Bucks versus Celtics. Gotta be honest, man. Celtics aren't bad. They're just, they're not going to win the championship. But like I watch them, it's like I think every time I think they're going to be so much worse, and they're hanging there every night. They hang tough, But I'm gonna make a prediction on this show about Jason Tatum. This guy is really underrated, man. He's ridiculous, and he's only what is he 12? No kidding. So he's only 23. I think he's gonna win MVP at some point, dude. I just think he's gonna have one of those, just one, but he's gonna be MVP of the league someday.
Yeah,
it's just like you watch him, he's hard to guard. Like, he can drop 30 or 40. It feels like any time he wants to, and there's some nights where he doesn't want to, I guess. But it's like you watch him. So I think it's tough because no Giannis, but I still think this is an interesting game if Middleton can go. But what do you think about the Celtics so far? Have you caught them at all?
Yeah, I've been. The thing with the Celtics that's nice about them is they always keep it close. It's always a fourth quarter rundown, and yeah, I agree with your point. I always talk about Jason Tatum's age. 23 is a ridiculous age, and it feels like he's been in the league for longer for some reason. It feels like he's been in the league longer than he actually has been. But Boston, I'm not high on them. And I think what Jason Tatum needs, or what the team needs, is they need a star center. Like that's what they really need. They're so fucked down there, and they need a star center to put up some really good defense, especially in the East when you got Embiid, Giannis. I just feel like Giannis is just gonna put it on them boys if he does end up playing on Christmas.
Yeah. Well, Embiid just gave him a 40-piece the other night, dude. Just in the Garden. He just destroyed them. So this is kind of is what it is, I think what could happen to Tatum is it's going to be a very similar situation to Paul Pierce. Meaning like the Celtics are obviously much better now than they were when Paul Pierce played because they were horrible like in that era. But so at least now they're a playoff team with Tatum, and maybe he'll want to stick it out. But it's like This roster could be, a borderline rebuild. As much as I just complimented them, it's like you really look at this like, man, like Is Schroeder going to be there in the next 5 years? Marcus Smart, Inez Cantor. I mean, you look at these guys like they're C players, and Tatum needs some help around him, and I think Jaylen Brown's good, but can these two really coexist together without a competent pass first point guard? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, this is very much like an OKC team, right? It's almost like the exact opposite of what the Warriors are, right? Where you foster this culture of these young guys and it ends up being really great and it's a really smart team. It's kind of on the opposite end of the OKC end. It's where, like, yeah, you have these, talented players, like maybe when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown go their separate ways, they'll shine on separate organizations. But for now, it's just not working, right? And Tatum definitely needs to seriously consider what's going to be next. We'll definitely welcome him home over in LA. He can come by whenever he wants. We got a few.
Anytime.
We got a few veterans the Celtics can have.
If you want to be the next Kobe, come join.
Also, too, think about this: Tatum, the organization cannot keep a point guard, right? I mean,
well, they can't even draft one.
Yeah, Kemba, Kyrie, Isaiah. Like, Jesus Christ, dude! Like.
Well, the Celtics and the Knicks and the Sixers have this problem where the fans will love you so hard, but as soon as you struggle for a minute, like, they just start hating on you so hard. And it's like, Kyrie didn't even play bad for them. I don't think Kemba didn't play bad for them. They were hurt, sure, but it's just like, damn, like, they could be so vicious to their players. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get that kind of culture. Who has a cleaner hairline, Jason Tatum or Paul George?
Ooh, dude, Tatum has the cleanest hairline in the game, dude.
Oh, I saw him on Knuckleheads in his great interview. Tatum is such an interesting dude to me. And it's just like, damn, I couldn't even stop looking at this dude's hair. Like, it's like curly on top and like clean on the bottom. It's like, that's what you strive for.
Clean.
That's what you strive for. Yeah.
Yeah. And he has a kid too, and he hasn't lost any of his hair. Impressive.
Dude, he had that kid young. My goodness.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Crazy.
That's what happens when you're slinging that NBA pipe. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh my goodness. So for this game, it's another hard one to predict. Let's assume Giannis plays. Who you got? It's at Milwaukee, by the way.
Bucks all day, baby.
I'll go Bucks even without Giannis, just because I hate the Celtics. I just do. And they gave us the old beatdown at the Garden. That's fine. We gave it right back, so they canceled out. But that beatdown, the first beatdown, I didn't like. I didn't like that at all. Not one bit. So yeah. All right, let's move on to the game everyone was excited for, but is without a doubt going to get suspended. Lakers versus the Nets. It is at LA. And, both these teams have been struggling. The Lakers, it shows on the record. The Nets, it doesn't, because Kevin Durant at this point. Well, let's talk about Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Is Kevin Durant the MVP of the league, or is Steph Curry at this point of the season, at the Christmas mark?
At this point of the season, I think I have to give it to KD, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Because I think KD is more consistent. And I think KD has. I think without KD, even though the Golden State will be definitely way worse without Steph, they might be able to hold their own. But without KD on this team, they're the worst in the league, probably, or not in the league, but not in the league. I'm being overdramatic, obviously, but they're not as good as they are right now.
Yeah, and with Harden taking that step back and. I'll take my victory lap on that in a minute, but I just think even when he went down, right, like, and they're down to, I don't know, 7 players, he's still winning them games.
Yeah.
And I don't care who he's playing, it could have even been the Magic or the Pistons. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're winning games against NBA competition with no players on the roster, I mean, that's pretty incredible. So I think at this point, it's definitely Durant, but I think what the Nets are doing, and they're first in the East, but not for long. I just think what they're doing is not sustainable, Like
No, not at
I
all.
mentioned this already, but it's just like you can't play that little defense and expect not to catch up to you. But it's also just the injuries, and if Durant, obviously they haven't been playing because they have so few players. But if Durant was not playing, this team would have taken a major step back, kind of like the Bucks are right now without Giannis. So, speaking of the Nets, taking my victory lap on Harden. Harden continues to be a bust. Scrub player. The fact that he was on the top 75 list just burned the list. All right. And Anthony Davis, burned the list. Take both them off. All right. 30 was never an issue for Harden with the refs helping him out and giving him 15 free throws a night. Was it, David?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. And now 30 is not even attainable for this guy because he can barely even get to 20. All I'm saying about James Harden is that he's a high turnover, 20-point a game scorer. He's not an all-time great scorer like everyone was telling me he was, on the same level as Michael and Kobe and AI, whoever you want to put up there. Harden's not in that class, all right? He doesn't play defense. He gets lazy without the ball, whatever. As you can tell, I love Harden. But the point is, and then people will be like, but he averages 9 assists a game. Yeah, I can get 9 assists a game too, dribbling out the shot clock and kicking it to Durant. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to pass to Durant. I'm sorry. So anyway, you have any thoughts on Harden?
Also, before I go into Harden, quick side note fact for the Ginger and Sola fans. Kevin Durant is number 3 for assists for Steph Curry on all of his 3-pointers. How crazy is that? Draymond Green is leading the pack by far with over 400. I think number 2 is Iggy with 1 whatever. But right below Iggy is KD at number 3, I think. Maybe I said number 4. He's number 3. And I just thought that's pretty impressive for a guy who's fucking almost 7 feet tall. You know what I mean? And only played for that team for 2 years. So I think KD tweeted out something send me the check or whatever. Something KD funny. But yeah, anyways, we'll go into Harden. Harden, watching him play defense is really disgusting. I watch some of the things he does, and it's absolutely egregious, dude. It really is truly egregious. And I'm like, Nash, dude, you need to get on that ass, dude. But I don't know if Nash can really get on anyone's ass, you know? Look at Frank Vogel, dude. He could get on some ass, dude. You know? Tyronn Lue, one of my favorite coaches in the NBA. That guy can get on some ass. But Steve Nash, I don't know if Steve Nash is getting on any ass, dude. And how long they're going to let this guy not run. I mean, come on. When they kick it out, I don't understand this thing about when the ball gets kicked out to the 3 and it's up and you just don't even try. Or I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But obviously James Harden, he's the fucking president of the Players Association, so you're never going to get this guy out of the club. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, people bring up his leadership. It's the only thing he's leading them to is the club, the strip club, the party, the bar. You can count on him to go there. His hamstring doesn't hurt in the club. I'm hearing he's still recovering from this hamstring. I mean, come on, then don't play. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. So I think what we're seeing is the OKC Harden is kind of what it was, and he wasn't a bum on OKC. He was a good scorer, but to call him this all-time great scorer, that's where I have an issue. It just I'm going to continue to have an issue. So we've roasted the Nets enough. It's time to talk about the Lakers. All right. Watching the Lakers is like drinking ocean water and then having ocean water just pouring on my eyes. Oh my God, I said porn instead of poured, but you get what I'm saying. The point is, dude, watching this team hurts me as a basketball fan, as a Laker fan. It's just the effort is terrible. Who's out there? It's just so bad. It's bad basketball. It really is. It's everything I hate about the league, the big 3 team ups and all this stuff. It's just and it just arrived right on our doorsteps, David. Right on our front porch. So, yeah. And I will say, we talked about this last time. I don't think Vogel's the issue. I don't think he should be fired. But if I wouldn't mind if he was fired, only because I kind of want Fizdale to be the coach. I didn't realize he was our head assistant. That'd be actually be kind of sick. I'm rooting. I love Fizdale. I'd love to see him be a head coach. So there's that. I gotta be honest. Westbrook's playing fine. I think Westbrook's playing fine, and LeBron's playing well. There's just nobody else. You know, it's like the Nets but worse, and in the West. So you know, you're gonna have issues.
Yeah.
So before we're gonna get to some positive stuff about the Lakers, because I think LeBron doesn't even deserve to be criticized for what's been going on. But let's hear your honest thoughts about the Lakers, and then we'll get into some positive stuff here.
Yeah. So I remember when we won the chip in the bubble, and I remember watching JaVale's vlogs, and I remember how, even though he is JaVale McGee, I remember how happy he was when he was playing on that team. And I think there was a quote that said from a few of the players that were like, man, we've never had a team where we've loved playing with each other like this much ever, right? The next year, our whole team is gone, right? so the team, we had incredible chemistry. Even though it maybe wasn't the best team on the planet, you know, even though we were able to slide and get that victory, we had incredible chemistry together. They loved each other. They loved playing with each other. And I think that you can tell with this team that the chemistry either will never happen or it's just not there right now. And
Yeah.
And even though you can't blame LeBron too much for it, I do have to maybe blame him a little bit because you did kind of bring these people here, LeBron. Like, you're the Brady of the Buccaneers. You kind of make a call. You know what I mean? And I'm curious to know how much of the front office was influenced by that or not, but I guess we'll never really find out. But yeah, we're lacking chemistry because we don't know how this team works. LeBron is having to do way too much. Even though it's great to see him put up these points, he's doing way too much for his age. Like you said, Westbrook is playing fine. AD's done. I'm done with AD. It's over. I'm pretending like AD doesn't even exist anymore, which is bad. You know, it sucks that he got a bad injury, and that sucks. And I wish him the best of recovery. But after you're done recovered, go home. Go home. Go home. I'm done. And the rest of these people are trash. So yeah, those are the negatives. We can roll into the positives, I guess. Go ahead, Jake.
It's not gonna be about the Lakers. It's gonna be about LeBron, because he gets so much criticism and he's been balling. He's in year, what is it, 120 now, and he's still putting. Like that. Yeah, I just watched him against the Suns put up 30 and 10 again. Like, he's in his prime. So it's just like, it's unbelievable what he's doing. But a little more Lakers slander here. It's just like, this Anthony Davis route, like, we gave up so much for him. And it's like, the Westbrook move, like, people can hammer it all they want, dude. At the end of the day, we gave up Kuzma, who everyone was telling me was terrible. Did they not?
Yeah.
Did they not tell me he was terrible?
Yeah.
Now Kuzma is amazing after we traded him. Funny how that works. Montrez, who didn't want to be here. And KCP, who, like, you miss him, but that's not, like... If I get Russell Westbrook, then that's the biggest thing I'm missing. Yeah. Like, I'll take Russell Westbrook. So I don't mind the Westbrook trade. Like, the only real problem with the Westbrook trade is that he makes so much money that it fucked everything else up. Like, we can't get a couple other guys that we wanted. So that's kind of where it screwed us. But man, we gave up a lot for AD. A championship, and we won it for Kobe is great, but it's like, you were supposed to take over for LeBron. You're supposed to be top 5 player in the league, and you should be, but injuries are kind of messing him up. And he's only 27, and he looks like, and he is the injuries of a 67-year-old. So it's just it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. So I want to talk about some LeBron moments here. Well, because this game is certainly going to get canceled, right? So can't really predict a winner. And LeBron did get hurt in that game, by the way. Like, I texted you, dude, and it's just like, he finished the game, but like, it looked like he had been like, not to laugh, but it's like, LeBron and AD do this where it's like, they look like they got shot, like, or it's that, and you always think it's like D Rose kind of thing, but like, that injury to LeBron is like, that's probably a couple games he's gonna miss, because it's like, he was on the sideline stretching most of the fourth and whatnot. So
Yeah.
But anyway, not to get too sidetracked here, I want to talk about the greatness of LeBron James here.
Mm.
Um, I'm going to throw some questions at you because, and I know people kind of talk about him in the GOAT discussion a lot. I get it, but it's just like, let's leave all that to the side. And let's just talk about some of the craziest moments he's had,
Mm.
and what you think are the most impressive ones. So I'm going to start with the most impressive run. I got 3 options for you. The 2018 run to the finals, where he took that team without Kyrie to play Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
When he was down 3-1 in 2016, came back and won. Or when he was in Miami and they won 27 straight games. Which of these 3 runs did you find the most impressive?
2018 run was when I think I became like a LeBron fan officially, right? Because you got to understand that even though I was always a LeBron fan, there was always a part of me that is the Lakers fan in me, right? And we're always going to give LeBron hate. But when Kyrie got hurt and he brought that team and he hit that game winner against the Pacers, and then game 1 of that series, he dropped 51 points, I was like, God damn, this guy is a fucking monster, dude. Even though he's always been a monster. But even then,
Right.
under adversity was when I really felt like he was a monster. And I think I can say the same thing about the 2016 run. Because he had really big moments in that run as well. And I mean, get the records that they had compared to Golden State. I think the 2016 Golden State 73-9, and the Cavs were like 50 something and 20. So it was super impressive that they were able to beat that team in 2016, and that made them get Kyrie Irving. So roundabout answer. I guess I don't know the answer, but I think that I really enjoyed the 2018 run. I think that was really fun TV. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll kind of break down my thought process here. 2018, like I get everything you're saying, and the buzzer beaters were crazy, and the numbers were crazy, and how they made it to the finals is crazy. But here's the only issue: it's like, all right, like not taking anything from LeBron, not taking anything away from the run, because all 3 of these moments are like incredible, right? That's why I wrote them down. But it's like, I just thought the competition he played was so weak getting to the finals. You know what I mean? Like
the Eastern Conference was terrible.
I thought those Toronto teams weren't that good, and he slaughtered them. Although he had a crazy shot in that series.
Yeah.
And then they needed 7 to beat a 20-year-old Tatum. I mean, that Boston team I had no respect for either. So that was my only issue with it. Obviously, the numbers are incredible. The 27 game win streak just has like a special place in my memory, just because it was like, I think we're either like in middle school or early high school, and it's just like the streak just kept growing and growing. It's like, man, are they going to catch the Lakers? The Lakers is only 33, they were right there, and it's like it just kept growing. It's like, oh my god, did you see LeBron won? They won it again. It's like, oh my god, they keep winning. Like, are they going to go undefeated? Like, you just kept, it's like, man, how far can they go? And eventually, obviously, they lost. But it's just like, that was just an incredible run. And I thought that was when LeBron was at his best. You know what I mean? Like as a player. So that's why I brought that one up. I think the Miami LeBron was when he was the most complete and just so much more athletic than the rest of the league. It was just like, I just thought that he was incredible. He's incredible even now. It's like that was when he was at the peak of his power. So all that just to say, the 3-1 comeback to me is the most impressive. Obviously, there was some buffoonery by the league suspending Draymond for Game 5. I think that had a huge impact on why they won that game. But you can't deny the numbers are what they are. The block was incredible. Kyrie hit the shot. But, LeBron iced the game. And he just played so good. He had like 40 plus in like most of those games, that series. They beat a really, all-time great Golden State team. And I just think that's going to be that's what put him in the GOAT discussion. You know what I mean? Like if he didn't have that on his resume, he's not even talked about,
Yeah. I think the 3-1 was amazing. I always think that and this is even fucked up to say because all teams have to have this, but I'm gonna just say it anyways. Like the asterisk is Kyrie Irving, right? Because Kyrie really did take over in a couple of those moments.
Yeah,
Where
in
we
game
wanted
six, he had not to cut you off, but game six he had like 45 as well. Like both of them had
yeah,
45. Like, it
yeah,
was incredible.
for 41. Yeah, they both had
Yeah.
41, and Kyrie, and Kyrie had that, obviously the Kyrie shot, and that's always going to be fuel for every LeBron hater. Is going to be like, boom, Kyrie Irving with the shot,
Yeah.
which obviously isn't fair at all. It's kind of like the
Yeah, I
same
mean
thing.
that block was like
It's one of the same things with Steph haters. It's like they're always like, oh, Steph doesn't have enough clutch moments in the finals, and it's
oh,
like,
don't
well,
get
if
me
we,
started.
it's like, well, if we really watch those games, like but yeah, but yeah, so that's a good. I like those three options. That's a good conversation.
All right, let's keep it going. I should have just pulled up. I should have got the numbers for these games. So
I have a
I'm
couple
gonna,
of them,
without
probably.
knowing the numbers, we're both gonna not have the numbers.
Okay, I'm not
So
gonna look at any. All right.
maybe we should, but whatever. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna give you 3 games in the
Okay.
playoffs. So LeBron's best moment. Game 6 against San Antonio. I know Ray Allen hit the shot. I get it. But LeBron was unreal in that game, and people forget it. So game 6 against San Antonio. Game 6 against the Celtics. I think it was 2012. You know, the one where he makes the face in the beginning, and he just absolutely annihilates them.
Mm-hmm.
That's cold. And then game 5 against the Pistons when he was young LeBron on the Cavs, and he had like all 30 of their fourth quarter points. They won. So those are the 3 games that came to mind. I wish I knew the numbers, but I should have looked them up. But out of those 3, what do you remember as LeBron's best playoff moment?
Or against the Celtics. I feel like, yeah, I think I have to go LeBron game 6 against the Spurs. I think, like you said, even though Ray Allen did hit the shot, I just remember, and it kind of goes back to what you said about, Miami and LeBron at that time. I just remember watching it and being like, oh my God, this guy is like not even human right now.
Yeah.
He definitely elevated to another level. And they were playing the Spurs, who at the time, especially for people our age, were, with the Lakers, were, one of the top dynasties of that time period, right? So the Spurs losing in the finals was definitely not, the top, even though we were obviously worried about the super team that happened, that, the Heat had, Popovich and the boys. We were like, yo, like they can, you know what I mean? That's an incredibly difficult team to beat. So yeah, that was a really great moment. But what do you think?
Yeah. I agree with not. Well, I don't agree, but like I agree that it was an incredible moment. That game 6 against San Antonio, and people like rip him. I know he like airballed the 3 at the end because he took 2 terrible shots, and like Popovich doesn't get grilled enough for not having Duncan in there on that last possession. Because if Duncan's in the game, they probably get the rebound and they win the championship. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like I get why you pick that, because it was an elimination game and they obviously could have lost, and they needed LeBron to go off in the 4th, and that was to send it to overtime. The game wasn't over yet, so they needed all of that from him. Game 6 against the Celtics, for whatever reason, I don't remember that game that well. I'm not saying LeBron wasn't incredible in it, and I'm sure he was, but it like doesn't stick in my memory as much as these other 2 games. And so for me, maybe it's because I was younger when we saw it, but like game 5 against the Pistons, that's just like what he did was just like that's like impossible. Like I wish I knew the exact number on it, but it's just like he scored like all their points and like was just unreal. And he beat, I know they didn't have Ben Wallace, but like a Pistons team that was elite. Like they had made the finals a couple of years, and they obviously won a title.
Yeah,
I just thought that
LeBron dropped 48, 7 and 9 that game.
In the Pistons one?
Against the Pistons.
What do you have in the 4th?
Let's see here.
Yeah, LeBron had
James scored
48.
32 more points than Cleveland's second leading scorer,
Yeah, he had no help.
Ilgauskas. Yeah.
Big Z was good. People hate. He had 11 in the fourth, but the rest of the team had like less than 11. I mean, what he did was truly remarkable. And that game went to double overtime too. LeBron had 9 in the first overtime and 9 in the second. Unreal. 48 against the Pistons, 45 against the Celtics. That's pretty remarkable, man. People don't respect him enough as a scorer.
Yeah.
And as a person. You see that? You see that? By the way, you see that BS story that came out or whatever?
That what he walked in or something?
What?
No, I don't know.
No, he had even worse, dude. He had a cigar in his hand going into the game. The media that like sucks Jordan off every chance they get is complaining about LeBron having a cigar. Please, dude. Jordan was smoking cigars before he even left the hotel. While he was in the car, he'd go into other teams' locker rooms and smoke a cigar, and then he'd go back to his own locker room and smoke a cigar. He'd play, drop 50, and then smoke another cigar, and then smoke 2 more at the party. Stop it, all right? If you want to praise Jordan, I don't want to hear anything about smoking cigars. You have any thoughts about Cigar Gate real quick?
Yeah, I mean, and this is what, like... And I hate to complain, be like, oh, we have LeBron James, oh my God. But the media that he brings, dude, is so fucking annoying, man. Like, every fucking story is like LeBron, and it's just like, it's a lot.
It's just like LeBron breathed today. It's like, great. Like, cool. Like, this is what LeBron eats for breakfast. It's like, Jordan would have had Frosted Flakes. He would never choose Fruit Loops. It's just so stupid. The story is not right. All right, you ready for the ultimate question? I already answered this.
Okay.
But here, best LeBron. Young LeBron on the 2000s Cavs, Miami LeBron, or the second or the second Cavs run in the 2010s after he left Miami.
Yeah, I gotta say second Cavs run because I think he was a better all-around player. I think that's when LeBron really started to grow in his assist game, and he started to become a smarter player. He wasn't nearly as athletic, but he was still able to put up a stupid amount of points, like 51 in the playoffs. But he can really lead a team at that point, that LeBron, and he's still like just no injuries, still just an absolute monster. So yeah, I think I have to go with second Cavs run LeBron. Even though Miami LeBron was, incredible, flying from the Raptors, but yeah, going with.
That's why I take it Miami LeBron. It's just like he's smart, always was just like the bounce he had combined with like all the other shit he could do. It's just like, I mean, that's incredible to me. Just like, wow. But I will say that young LeBron, when he was on the first round of the Cavs, will always be my favorite LeBron. I don't care what anyone says. He was so fun. It was just like all the, like when he went to Miami, it just changed all of our perceptions of him, and like the way he was covered. And it's just like, he just had so much more fun. He was so much more fun, like I don't know, like, and people will say, well, it's because you weren't threatened by it. And it's like, he was still on 66 win teams every year. Like, those Cavs teams, you can look back and be like, oh, see, like they were bad because, those guys aren't going to be in the Hall of Fame, like Wade and Bosh are, and, all these super teams that he created. But it's just like, I don't know, like he used to like do chase down blocks. Like I remember you had to be scared because it's like, oh, LeBron's going to come and chase down block you from behind. Or it's like right before the half, he just chuck up a half court shot and drill it. It's just like, he was just like fun to watch. I don't know. Like that's going to be my favorite version of LeBron.
I respect it.
All right. Now, what we thought was going to be the big matchup going into the season, the Lakers-Nets, probably won't even happen. And it's not that big of a matchup anymore. The real big matchup is the two, possibly surprise, but they are the two best teams in the NBA up until this point.
Mhm.
Warriors and the Suns. The two teams split the first two games. Booker did not play the second game. He has returned, and he already looks pretty
Whoa.
solid. He's back. So, Warriors Suns. We're going to Phoenix for this one. Who do you like, and why don't you give a little breakdown on these two teams from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, definitely. The Warriors have been a bit of a surprise this year. They've really meshed together. They've really, came together as a team, and they're playing really well. Um, there's a part of me though, and this is going to be a little controversial, but there's a part of me that wonders: are we being a little bit fooled by the Warriors right now? Is there a possibility that they're sort of on a streak, but do they have enough going forward to keep it up? Because I really like this Suns team, and I think that they have a lot of pieces, especially with Book being healthy. They're basically the same team from last year. I love DeAndre Ayton for defense, so they have that size that the Warriors don't have either. And I'm thinking like in a 7 game series, I just don't really know if I see the Warriors beating the Suns. So wait, give me who's out though? Who has COVID? Because I don't even know before I even say who I think's gonna win this.
Um, Not a ton of players. It will happen this game. Wiggins is going to have COVID, and Jordan Poole, I believe, has COVID too. I think those two will be out.
Okay.
But almost everybody on the Suns is playing. Uh,
Okay.
as of this moment.
Interesting. I mean, listen, I love Steph so much right now, especially this year. He's a monster. Even though he's kind of lately been maybe a little more inconsistent, I still love watching him play, and I still really like this Warriors team, and I'm excited for Wiseman to get back. There's just, I don't even know if I can explain it. There's just like a feeling in the back of my head that's almost like, is this real? Is this as real as the Suns are real? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. What do you think?
I'm actually with you on this.
Mm,
I just think they've cooled off a little bit, and teams are taking them a little more seriously. Not that they weren't, because it's still Steph Curry.
mm,
Um, but it's just like now it's like, all right, like this is clearly a championship contender. Like, but probably in our NBA preview, we thought this was more of a playoff team than a
mm-hmm.
contender. Now it's
Yeah.
like, no, this is probably going to be the favorite going into the playoffs at this rate,
Mm,
because they're going to get Clay back at the beginning of January. They want to do it when the Warriors are home. So whenever that game is, he'll be back. So he's going to be back soon. And it's just like, once Clay comes back, they're just going to have a huge burst of energy behind them. They're probably going to go on a big run. And I just think they're going to be lethal offensively. But right
mm,
now, they've just kind of, cooled off a little. And the Suns are just not playing around anymore.
mm-hmm.
Like they're just blowing. If you're not ready to play, they just blow you out. They just say, "All right, like we're gonna blow you out now."
Mm-hmm.
That was nice of you to come play us, but we're
Mm-hmm.
bored. We're over this. And Chris Paul, like I just don't get why people even dislike him, dude. He's out. He's awesome. Like he's not
Mm-hmm.
even close to the same player he was, and yet he's still so effective. He's completely changed his game to fit
Mm-hmm.
the team. He's like the ultimate team player. So I'm just a big fan of his, and Booker. Booker's completely bought in. Having Chris Paul was a great mentor for him. But the difference, what makes this team go is DeAndre Ayton. Because when
Mm-hmm.
he like wants it, when he's like paying attention and like wants it, like there's no one that can guard him, dude. He's too big,
Yeah.
and they have all kinds of great
Yeah.
role players, a fantastic coach. I like the Suns in this one. I think they're really good at home.
Yeah. Yeah, love Aiton, man. Definitely one of my favorite players this year. And yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think that they got this one. But that's probably going to be the best Christmas game we're going to get this time around for sure. Um, and
Absolutely. Yeah, just to add one thing, I think I already said it, but I still think Steph is going to be MVP of the league. I just think he's playing at a historic level right now. Let's quickly preview Mavs Jazz. Another game that's kind of been wrecked by COVID. Luka has been injured, but he's also got COVID, so I guess he limped to the club. But going in, these are our these are our two favorite players. Mine being Donovan Mitchell, yours being Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Going head to head, and it's just a shame we're probably not going to see it. And two teams going in different directions. What do you think about Dallas so far, and the Jazz? Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, the Jazz. Yeah, I think the Jazz they're looking pretty solid. They're kind of what I expected they would be. Obviously the Jazz aren't going to get the most media coverage in the world, but they are really putting the fucking smack down on these teams, dude.
Yeah,
and they're really kind of murdering everyone in their way. And then the Mavs, they're kind of unfortunately at this point in the league, they're kind of less than what I expected. I just feel like Luka could be like, and he's playing really well, but like from what I was seeing last year, man, like the Luka train was hype. The Luka hype train was great, and I feel like it's kind of cooling off this year a little bit, and I don't like that at all, dude. And I want to see Luka just fully transform into what I believe that he can be. And this isn't me saying he's playing bad because he's still playing great. It's just that it isn't the same vibe, I guess. The same feeling that it was a year ago. And obviously the Mavs just don't play any fucking defense. And they got a new coach, so the new coach has to adapt. And also, Luka, dude, don't go to the media and say that you don't like how Carlisle was treating players, dude. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. You know what I mean? Like, we're in like the professional NBA, dude. Like, don't go like this fucking Jags kicker who was like, oh, Urban Myers kicked me. It's like, dude, let it be what it is. Keep it under the radar. Don't let anything leak into the organization. Luka, you're the star. You are the rock. You know what I mean? So you got to balls up a little bit, and yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll address I agree with everything you said, but only the last part I disagree with. So if someone fucking kicked me, dude, like a coach, I'm like, I wouldn't have waited that long. I would have came out right away, like, yo, this dude just kicked me. Like, I was stretching, and like this coach you're paying millions of dollars just kicked me, bro. like I'm not gonna press charges, but like, I just want to let y'all know, like, it's fucked up. And like, obviously, like I get where you're coming from, because it's like, all right, like if someone kicks you, bro, and you're just gonna sit there and be like, ooh, 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 like you're not gonna fight, you know what I mean? Like we're not fighting on the spot. Like I'm not a fighter. Like I would get my ass beat by Urban Meyer even at 60, but it's like, stand up for yourself a little. That's probably why I got
cut. Well, no, this is the story with the kicker though. He got cut right before all this happened, obviously. He said that Urban Myers kicked him. He stood up and said, don't ever fucking kick me again. And Urban Myers said, I'm the head ball coach. I'll kick you whenever the fuck I want. Right? Which at that point...
We're fighting at that moment.
Which at that point, you start flipping out. So just because you got cut and now your agent's like, yo, we need to get you signed, homeboy. There should be another reason why you got cut, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like at that moment, like we're probably fighting. Like back to basketball here. We'll close it out because we are running low on time. We want to talk about other things. I just think the Jazz are being really slept on. I do, and they're just out for blood, like you mentioned. And I get it. People are gonna be like, well, like no one's gonna respect the Jazz until they do it in the playoffs. Right. Yeah. So I understand, but it's like, you gotta kind of, in a way, you gotta throw away the last year, not because of anything, but it's just like, this is a new year. This team looks different. Like, I don't know. There's something about them that just looks different. And I know that they'll probably flame out in the playoffs again, but it's just like, they look really solid to me.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of this, you got Dallas, who looks awful. They look awful. It's the other way around it, dude. Like, I seriously believe they're the worst defensive team, like for a playoff team almost that I've ever watched. Like how, and it doesn't even make sense. They're so tall. They're all so tall, and I don't get it. So, I think the Jazz smoke them if this game happens. Because who knows how many players Dallas will have, but yeah, I just think Utah is the truth, and Dallas could be looking to make some moves at the deadline. All right, that concludes our NBA Christmas Day preview. So stick around, and we're going to draft our favorite Christmas movies here on the Ginger and Soul podcast. We are with our Christmas movie draft. Before we get started, we have to have the discussion: is Die Hard a Christmas movie? It's the debate that will go on until the end of time. What are your thoughts? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
No, and the reason is nobody watches Die Hard on Christmas.
Never thought of it that way.
Right?
Yeah, I'm with you all the way. I don't think it's a Christmas movie, but
No.
I just want to know if I should keep it on the board. But yeah, I don't. It's like, well, it happened on Christmas, so it's a Christmas movie. It's like it's not a Christmas movie, in my opinion. Like, what's Christmassy about it? That there's like a tree in the background? Like, I don't get it. Just wanted to know, because if it was on the board, then I'll probably have to snag it. But because it is a great movie.
It is a great movie. Yeah.
All right. Why don't you go number one? I'm curious.
Oh, you're giving me number one? Oh my God. Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right. I'm snagging the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Don't even debate me. Every Christmas Eve I watch it. Number one, It's a Motherfucking Wonderful Life, motherfucking bitch.
Oh, nice. That's my dad's favorite movie, and I watched it for the first time. And
you watched it for the first time? Okay. Yeah. For the Ginger and Soul
last year,
podcast listeners, Ginger is true to the name. Okay. So Ginger's holidays ended like 2 weeks ago.
There's some Christian Jews.
So
we lost
Happy Hanukkah.
We lost all 2 of our subscribers.
Yeah.
They're walking out. Break down why It's a Wonderful Life was your number one overall pick, obviously.
Because It's a Wonderful Life. Not only is it just a legendary Christmas movie, it's just a legendary movie, man. Like, every time I watch it, It's a Wonderful Life, I get emotional. It's a great story. One of the greatest classic stories you can tell about a man who, loses everything and then realizes that everything he needs the most is right around him, and he begins to appreciate those things. And that's one of the main messages of Christmas. So it's a Christmas movie because it fits in that theme of, family and appreciation and love, but also it's just one of those, dude, like in the 40s, they just did it different with the acting, bro. Right? I mean, it is real life. You know what I mean? Shit. When you're watching him and he grabs the moon with the girl, and you watch him how he struggles through things. And it's great because it's a Christmas movie that has those messages of how good Christmas is, but it also has enough cynicalness in it as well, to where cynicalness isn't a word, but I'm just going to say it anyways. It has enough of that in it too, where it makes you, really feel and you're engaged with it. It's amazing. Everyone wants to be George, and so, yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. That's my numero uno there. What do you got, Jake?
It was a great pick. It was on my board, and now I don't feel obligated to pick it, so took a big load off my shoulders. All right, so this is a really tough decision. But I'm just gonna go with it. It's my list, right? I'm gonna go with Home Alone.
You fucker, cunt, motherfucker! Oh my God, I didn't think you were gonna get that. Oh my God.
I mean,
Oh
how
my
could you
God,
not,
you
dude? It's
bastard.
such a great movie. This, well, I don't want to say it because like both of them are good, but the first one is the better one, obviously. But it's just like it's just such a great movie, and it's a shame what happened to the kid and how he had all those issues later. But I love the movie. I don't really have much more to add, I guess. Like I just like all the hijinks that happen in it. It's funny. It's
Yeah.
emotional. It's got everything you want in a Christmas movie.
You know what, Jake? You know what, Jake? You know what, Ginger? Fuck you, dude. You know what my next pick is?
Oh God.
Fuck you. I'm picking Home Alone 2, motherfucker.
Okay. Home Alone 2 is so good.
My dick, dude. I'm picking Home Alone 2 as the
I'm
next
glad you
pick
took
in
it.
my
You'll
draft.
see
dude.
why. I'm
Alone-
glad you picked it.
Home
You're
Alone
gonna see
2
why I'm glad you picked it though.
Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, baby. That's
It's so
a
good.
fucking Christmas classic, dude. No shame in picking the sequel, dude. That's like The Godfather 2, bitches. That's what I'm thinking.
And you got our president. You got a president in that movie. Can you believe
Yes,
it?
and he got a president in that movie. Yes. All right.
All right. Well, this is why I'm glad you picked that movie because now I get Elf.
Ooh, yeah. Oh my God.
I love that movie. It's just like talk about a movie that's just hilarious. Like you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not even like, I mean, like Zoe Deschanel. Like, I don't know, she's okay in it, but like people probably love her. But it's just like that movie. Like it's just elite. Like it's just a great movie.
It is elite.
Will Ferrell is my favorite comedic actor. Like I think I get everything I want in the movie there.
Yeah.
It is a little emotional when his biological father like is like go home or like I don't want you or whatever he says. It's like damn that part does hurt. It's like I even fast forward that part sometimes. It's like we don't need that. But it's so good. It's got everything you want in a Christmas movie. Santa's real in it, so good stuff.
All right. Good pick. Really good pick. I guess I'm gonna have to snag it then because it's on the board. Number 3, I'm gonna have to go A Christmas Story. You're gonna shoot your eye out, kid. Christmas Story.
Is that the one with Scrooge?
No. A Christmas Story is about the kid. He's about the kid who gets like the BB gun for Christmas, and it was made in like the 80s. Classic movie. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to grab that one. Actually, not one of my favorite Christmas movies, but because it's on the board and it's so well regarded as a classic, I'm just gonna have to take it. Christmas Story on the board, but I have more favorite off the wall picks that I'm gonna drop on you in a little bit that you're not even ready for. So I'll let you get the next one here.
Fair enough. I haven't seen that movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never seen it, so it'll have to be on my bucket list for Christmas. All right, this is hard. I'm in between two of them. I don't even know if the other one's really a Christmas movie, so I'm gonna go with one that's definitely a Christmas movie, and it's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, which one?
You wanted it?
Which one?
What is there, a sequel? The one with Jim Carrey.
Oh, dude, I got the cartoon on my board, dude. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
I was talking about the real one here. Get that shit out of here. Jim Carrey's hysterical in that movie. All right, I'm not saying it's gonna win an Oscar or anything, but it's a fire movie. You got Jim Carrey in it. It's funny. Yeah, and does he get converted to Christianity at the end and whatever? But it's a good movie. It's really funny, and it's just like a ridiculous Christmas movie. And a couple of my other ones, it's a little gray area. So I think I'm going with the safer pick. Do you want to go with 5? That was my third, right? I have Home Alone, Elf, Grinch.
All right, I gotta do this. I gotta do this for the culture, baby. The culture.
I know where you're
going. I don't know if you've seen this one, but I'm saying, this Christmas the fireside is burning bright, and we're caroling through the night. That's right, baby. I'm talking about 2007. Chris Brown's This Christmas, dude. Black Christmas comedy legend, dude. You got Chris Brown. You got Regina King. You got Idris Elba. You got Lauren London. all-star cast, amazing soundtrack, and Chris Brown's This Christmas has been a Christmas solid, a Christmas song staple throughout the years, baby. So I've drafted This Christmas as the next movie on my draft.
Gotta be honest, I've definitely not seen that one, bro.
Dude, you gotta watch This Christmas before A Christmas Story, dude. That's what you gotta do.
I just feel like it's gonna be funny, and I don't want to invoke his name, but like R. Kelly's what's the one Off the Wall or whatever. R. Kelly's I'm blanking on the name. You know what I mean?
You're
movie.
talking about Trapped in the Closet.
Yeah, it's probably like an R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet Christmas kind of movie.
This is a
it's
classic.
serious.
Oh, dude, no, it's a classic, dude. It's a classic.
I'm like red in the face and laughing so hard at that pig. All right, wait, before we keep going, what's the over-under on the Rotten Tomatoes for that?
Dude, over 40 at least, dude. It's definitely over 40.
That's pretty low. What's it called? Christmas?
This Christmas.
This
Dude.
Christmas. I can't stop laughing. This is great. Okay, you're right. 55%. There you go. Not a lot of reviews, though, but okay,
Christmas
that's
classic.
fair.
Check it out. You'll love it.
It feels like that's up my alley. All right, well, thankfully my board is still intact here. I'm going to go Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
This movie... See, like, I was between that and The Grinch because, like, I don't know if it is a Christmas movie, yes, but it's like, it's like about the guy, he's like in a Halloween world, and then he like goes into Christmas and invades, so it's like, is it a Christmas movie? I thought it was a little gray, so that was my only thought process there, because I think, wow, oh my God, I think Nightmare Before Christmas is a better movie than How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but it was like, you know, I think it's really creative, and, you know, one of the last good Tim Burton movies, so I'm rolling with it. It's a good movie. Not that emotional. So, you know, yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of options on the board here. Don't know what I'm gonna go with, but I think I'll just send it. I'll go The Polar Express.
No, dude, ew. Yes. That movie's awful.
No, that's a great
that movie's
movie,
garbage.
Dude. I remember the day I watched that movie, dude.
I do too. I remember leaving the theater.
Classic Christmas movie, dude. Put some respect on the Polar Express's name, dude.
Let me tell you something about that movie, all right? As a kid, David, you could take me to see any garbage you could, all right? And I would say, I would act like it's The Godfather. Like, I think I saw, what was like a garbage movie that I thought was good at the time? Maybe like even Cars 2, but like not Cars 2, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you could take me to see almost anything. And then my dad, as you do as a dad, fell asleep in the theater for this movie. And I woke him up and said, all right, we can go. And we left.
Dude.
I hate that movie. And, you know, it's just personal because I respect, now that I'm older, I respect it because Tom Hanks is in it and does, like, all the parts, which is pretty cool. But, like, other than that, dude, it's so boring. I hate that kid. I hate all the kids on that train. I wish it crashed. Why do you like that movie?
I don't even know, dude. I just fucking threw it up there. It's a classic Christmas movie.
It is pretty high on the list when I was doing research for this.
All right, go ahead, because I have a few more to fire off now. I got some bullets in my chamber.
Oh, good. All right. I'm running out. For it. I got everything on my board. All right, let me know if I'm off my rocker on this, but I did see it online, and so I'm going to count it, and because I like the movie. Trading Places. Is it a Christmas movie? Not that sure, but I like the movie. It has Eddie Murphy in it. It has Dan Aykroyd. Is it a Christmas movie? The internet says so. So it's on my board, and you know it's a great movie. I mean, you can't deny it's fire.
I respect that.
So
yeah, that's an amazing movie. One of the funniest movies ever. I definitely respect that pick.
Is it a Christmas movie? What do you think?
I would say, you know what? It takes place during Christmas.
Right? I don't know.
So I would say it's a Christmas movie. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Google doesn't lie.
But I'm gonna fire off. Fucking Rudolph the motherfucking red-nosed reindeer, dude.
Oh my god.
Boom. You know why? Because
why we all corny movies?
Because we all hate Santa Claus, dude.
Why do you hate Santa?
No, we all hate Santa in that movie, dude.
Oh,
because
okay.
he's such a motherfucker. Wait, you've never seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Oh like, I know of it. I know Rudolph is like bullied because like he has a big nose. Like I can relate to some of the parts, dude, and then he flies because he has a red nose. Like,
all right, no, I'm doubling up my picks. Fuck you, dude. I'm going with another. Shut up, dude.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. I just haven't seen the movie.
No, dude, no, shut up, dude. I'm firing off a Charlie Brown Christmas motherfucker.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's much better.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Great pick.
That is a great pick. I don't think I've seen it either, but Charlie Brown is always fire. I'm pretty much out of movies. I have Fred Claus written, so I'll go with that. And Vince Vaughn, I remember, was kind of funny in it.
I have the Santa Claus with
Tim Allen. That was my other one.
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did have that on my board.
Great series, classic series as a kid. Used to watch that a lot.
Yeah. Dude, underrated movie, like not Christmas movie at all, but just because we talked about Tim Allen. Dude, Shaggy Dog was fire. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, that is a classic, dude.
See, that's the kind of movie you could take me to as a child. To be like, no, they should have won an Oscar. All right, what else is on your board? Because your movies are hilarious. I love them all.
Well, okay, I think the last one here on my board is Eyes Wide Shut. Definitely a Christmas movie, in my opinion. Don't know if you've seen Eyes Wide Shut. It's the movie that killed Stanley Kubrick. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman.
Well, I do like Tom Cruise.
Takes place during Christmas.
Weren't they together at the time?
They were together at the time. I think so. I don't know. That was like 99.
I'm confusing it with the other one, the one Jamie Foxx got with.
But yeah, Eyes Wide Shut. One of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's Kubrick's best film. Really love that movie. It's the movie that kills Stanley Kubrick. It's a Christmas movie because it takes place in Christmas.
Have you ever seen Bad Santa? It's like it was on all these lists.
Oh, Bad Santa is a classic. Yeah, that's a funny movie. It's been a really long time since I've seen that though. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the holiday special of the Ginger and Soul podcast. By the time this comes out, we're going to have uploaded like 2 other episodes. We're going to be all caught up. We're going to the moon, baby. You know what I mean? The New Year's coming around the corner. Happy New Year to all of you people. I hope you have great New Year's resolutions. 2022 is going to be the biggest year for Ginger and Soul of all time. Soul is moving to Los Angeles, the home of the Angels, the place to be. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you. And yes Jake, anything to say to close us out?
It's raining here. You'll bring us some sunshine, baby. That's what I'm hoping for in 2022. Let's get it. Hope you guys enjoy your Christmas, whatever you do, whatever you celebrate. Hopefully you watch some good basketball. There's some NFL games on that we'll talk about next time. And watch a good holiday movie, yeah.
Yes,
and we'll talk about Spider-Man on the next episode because I will make sure that these people who are making minimum wage at the AMC theater are away from their families this Christmas Eve. We don't need to include that. But anyway, tune in next week. Tune in next week to the Ginger and
Soul podcast. Beep, beep.